I'll be honest with you, Brody, I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was going to be a squash match. I thought, boom, numpty mask done. 1 minute, 2 minute, Black Plague, maybe the chicken wing. This old bastard reversed the chicken wing. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve, hasn't he, that little numpty? He caused me quite the smart and bubba. But unfortunately for you, numpty mask, the outcome was inevitable. Inevitable, is that how you say it? Yeah, inevitable. You fell victim to the villain. If you want to get up to date and all your Ring of Honor news, New Japan, you want to hear about Villain Enterprises, then Tiger Driver Radio is the station for you. So make sure you give it a download, you give it a listen, and don't be a bloody numpty. Long live the villain.
We're recording already. What is this?
Making a beat.
Oh. I don't have a beat.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? What's going on? This is Tiger Driver Radio for all things New Japan, Ring of Honor, AEW, and the best of the indies and everything else in between. This is your main man, JP.
Oh, you didn't say alongside. You always say alongside.
I'm really off today. Alongside.
Juicy J.
I guess some of you guys accidentally tuned in while we were trying to make our own beats. I think we're gonna probably stop doing this podcast and we're gonna become producers. We're gonna make beats.
I'm not good at that.
Yeah, see, we got to work on it, man. We got to work. We're gonna become producers, man. We're gonna be like, Pharrell.
You should become a producer for Game of Thrones. Didn't they not go as well? What happened with that? I'm not a fan. So.
I know you're not a Game of Thrones fan. I am a Game of Thrones fan, and I was fucking underwhelmed. God.
Everybody was mad.
The thing is, like, here's the thing. Like, all these people, fans, right, are like, oh my God, this is poor writing. Or, oh my God, like these episodes and these past couple episodes are super bad. What a shitty way to end the show. And for me, it's like, dude, welcome to the world of being a pro wrestling fan. I'm so used to ups and downs and disappointments and losing and not getting what you want out of a character or a wrestler or shit not happening the way you'd hoped. Dude, if you're a wrestling fan, we've all been very disappointed. We're used to the heartache.
Yeah. So do you think there's more lows than highs in wrestling?
Depends
on the promotion.
Depends on the promotion these days. But like with all these Game of Thrones fans, they were all like, oh, this is terrible. Y'all need to do a rewrite. And I'm like, welcome to my life as a wrestling fan, dude. Yeah. For like the past, I don't know, forever for me. Like, God, people like
start a petition.
Yeah, like they start a petition. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, come on, dude. At the end of the day, regardless of how the show ended, and don't get me wrong, it didn't end great. It was terrible. I wish the ending was very underwhelming, but I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, fuck this show. Too late, bitch. You already watched it. Like, you spent 8 years watching the show, so it's done. It's over.
I would be upset too. I would watch it that long.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's kind of like this. Like, if you don't like it that much, you don't got to rewatch it.
Yeah. Go watch Walking Dead.
Watch Walking Dead and, good luck ending that show.
Yeah.
Good luck ending that show. So for me, it's just like when all these like Game of Thrones fans are just kind of like getting all pissy. I'm like, dude, welcome to my life as a wrestling fan. And the beauty about wrestling is that if I don't like one thing, I'll go watch something else. Like I've always been advocating every day. Every time we do this show is what I advocate. If you don't like something, go watch something else. There's tons of options.
So many.
You know, I don't know, go watch Chernobyl, which I heard is another good show on HBO.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's kind of based on what happened in Russia with, you know, the nuclear meltdown that happened in Chernobyl. Like, it's a series about that. I don't know,
Go listen to podcasts.
Go listen to podcasts, man. Like, listen to ours. Fuck, if you're tuning in, thank you. And if you haven't tuned in, welcome, you fuck. Like, shit, it took you long enough.
You're evil, man.
I am the devil. Yeah, man. But no, like, it's just with these Game of Thrones fans, like, complaining. I'm like, it's just a show. At the end of the day, you're supposed to have fun. It's a show. Mm-hmm. Being disappointed is part of the process. How do you think us wrestling fans feel?
I mean, it was good for, what, you said 8 years? So it was good for...
So it's a good solid 8 years.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, give me, like, some time. I could rewatch the series and be okay with it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Just don't watch the last episode.
Yeah, just
But watch the whole thing, not the last episode.
Yeah, the last episode kind of sucks. You know, it is what it is.
But what was good, New Japan.
New Japan's been awesome as of late. Like I said, the best of the Super Juniors has been going very, very strong. AEW's Double or Nothing is just around the corner. You know, can't say the same for WWE.
Yeah, it's not going so good.
I don't know. Man, you know what? I'm going to stop myself. I'm going to go on another tirade as to why WWE is trash. I think, whatever. We all know.
I want that 24/7 belt.
Good. Don't get me started. that belt that looks like it almost looks like a Korean coin for me. Yeah. Or like a British pound.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It kind of looks like that. Yeah. I don't know. Fuck that belt. You know.
FTW belt.
Yeah, man. But yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, wrestling's getting very interesting. And you know what? Let's talk about a little bit of the best of Super Juniors, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir!
All right, let's go. All right, best of the Super Juniors, man. We're going to be covering the past couple of nights, man. And it's, you know, like I said, the one thing that I really love about these tournaments, man, is just how they showcase people. And a lot of people are breaking out of their shells. A lot of people are really showing their skills. You know, I think it's safe to say that Ren Narita will never, ever fucking win a match in this tournament.
Yeah, poor guy.
Poor guy. I think they announced it as saying that the last time that a young lion won a tournament match as a young lion
2016
was 2016, and that was Finley.
Yeah,
that was Finley. Finley. He actually did win a match. He only won one match the whole tournament, but for a young lion, that's a big fucking deal. So yeah, he was the last guy to win. Of course, you know, he went up against Robbie Eagles. Robbie Eagles hit him with that turbo backpack, which I think that's such a cool move. That turbo backpack.
Cool name too.
Yeah, just like turbo backpack. I feel like that's something you would say when you're like a little kid and you're playing pretend. It's like, oh yeah, well, I got my turbo backpack. You know, like you're running around real fast on the fucking playground.
That's like something from the Power Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. Like turbo backpack.
Everybody loves my turbo action backpack.
Fucking cornball. No, I'm just kidding. Robbie Eagles could fucking kick my ass.
Yeah.
But up next was Yo and Bandito, and Bandito loses again against Yo. Yo's finally getting his first 2 points of the tournament. But man, I feel like Bandito, I just so badly want to see him get a title push somewhere, you know?
In this match, though, he did overshadow Yo, I think.
I think it's, I hate to say this.
Yeah.
Aside from a young lion, I don't think it's too hard to outshine Yo, where his tag team partner Sho has been really keeping up with all these like awesome veterans, like, you know. So in this case, it was, you can definitely tell Bandito was taking the lead and put him over, but like, I'm ready for Yo to like show me something else. Show me a little something, which he does a little bit later in the tournament, but it wasn't to the same, in my opinion, as his tag team partner Sho, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but Bandito did, I think from all the Lucha guys in this tournament, I think he's the one that's doing better as far as his work.
Yeah, because I haven't really been that impressed with Titan as of late.
Dragon Lee either.
Dragon Lee, I think Dragon Lee's taking a little
bit better, but
I think he's taking it a little bit easy because he has to conserve himself to defend that title after the tournament, you know? Regardless of the outcome of the tournament, he still has to defend it.
For Himoru.
Exactly. Maybe we'll find out.
We wish.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
And then this next match with Bushi and El Fantasmo, which El Fantasmo's been going strong, getting 4 points.
He's a mean guy, man.
He's a mean guy. Okay, let me get this straight. Like in this particular match on this particular night against Bushi,
yeah.
The one thing that I did notice about Fantasmo is that he's starting to wrestle more like a heel and rely less on his acrobatics. Like he's just doing more shortcuts, which it works. It's fine. I just still would like to see what else Fantasmo can bring in terms of his wrestling acumen for those that aren't familiar. So that way, the crowd can start getting behind his skill. But I feel like he kind of definitely took a lot of shortcuts this time around.
Too many. He's not as entertaining like Tai Chi is with his heel tactics. He is an annoying way he does it, I think.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Because like the thing is with Robbie Eagles has finally started in terms of like, the juniors and the Bullet Club. Yeah. Robbie Eagles has finally started to show me what he's made of. It's like, okay. And Fantasmo has showed me, but I feel like as the tournament has gone on, it's less and less and less, where Robbie Eagles is going like balls to the wall.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, Fantasmo is going backwards. Like more heel.
Yeah, and Eagles
losing all the cool moves he has.
Yeah, and then where Eagles is just kind of
the other way.
He's like showing more and more and more of himself, which I'm glad to see.
Yeah,
and then on this night, another match that really stuck out was Ospreay versus Romero. Two of the best to do it, in my opinion.
This was my, I think, second favorite match of the tournament. I think for me.
Really?
Yeah, from how good Rocky did this match versus Ospreay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because Ospreay, like I said, at the end of the day, Ospreay can make anybody look great, have a great match with anybody. But when you got a guy like Romero who's so versatile and diverse in his attack against a guy like Ospreay who's just exciting to watch, it's definitely back and forth. In my opinion, probably one of, I think Ospreay even said it on his Instagram, was one of his favorite matches on the tournament as a whole.
It's a good match. Or maybe I liked it a lot because of Caprice Coleman being so excited.
That's the one thing that I like about this tournament is that Caprice Coleman has done such a good job at providing, I guess, kind of bridging the gap between, calling the action and also doing color commentary at the same time. Because he does kind of analyze what's going on in the ring, where, Kevin Kelly does call the action as he sees it in the ring. He calls it. And in some degrees, Caprice Coleman does too, but Caprice Coleman tends to add that animation where Kevin Kelly might not have. And Kevin Kelly's done a fine job. In fact, I even was saying that in terms of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kevin Kelly's always done a better job than Jim Ross. Yeah. And it's not to say that Jim Ross is a terrible commentator. No, Jim Ross is the best fucking commentator, in my opinion, in the history of pro wrestling. But in terms of Japan, I felt like it didn't fit as well. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think I agree.
But in terms of Caprice Coleman, he does such a good job in complimenting Kevin Kelly's calling,
And this one, his friend, I think, is Rocky, and he was animated times 10 in this one.
Yeah, because he's invested, he plays off he's invested or whatever else. Unfortunately, Romero did lose. Yeah. But I would expect no less, because Ospreay is a tough man to beat. And I would expect that to be the main event, but instead it was Taguchi versus Doki. And Doki, of course, found his first loss against Taguchi. And the one thing I love about Doki is that he was just kicking Taguchi's ass for the most part of this match.
Yeah. And what I hate though is that Taguchi keep putting him in the main events, which I don't like. I don't know why they pick him as maybe the face of the junior heavyweights. I'm not sure, but I'm not liking that. I
know that he's super popular with the crowd. I understand that. But, and it's not to say that he can't wrestle. Of course he can. He can do great wrestling. In fact, at one point, people even considered him the best, junior in the world at one point. That day is not today. And I just feel like other wrestlers need to be showcased in that main event, not Taguchi. But Doki, on the other hand, is entertaining as hell. Super, just the same way that I always pride Shingo on how Shingo has the most simplistic moveset, but maximizes his power and his size and his execution, so where he makes a suplex look devastating, it makes a clothesline look like the most painful thing to experience. He has two very innovative moves, and then he keeps the rest of his moveset simple, but he maximizes that. I feel like Doki maximizes what it is to be a brawler. Like he's just a simple brawler. He can counter, he can wrestle, he can keep up with the high flyers, but he's not a high flyer. He just likes to go in there and just like kick your teeth in and beat you up, and that's it.
And he's definitely going to do it. Kevin Kelly said that he was in 10 years in Mexico, but in the Mexican indie scene.
Yeah.
That had to be tough to be in that.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, like, you're not wrestling for a major company. You're not in AAA or CMLL. Like, you're going to small independents. And, you know, and from what I've heard, and I know, like, Anthony, you know, from Lonja Libre Fitness has kind of told me a little bit that promoters in Mexico can be dirty.
Yeah.
They can fuck you over. I mean, all promoters can, but in Mexico, it's rough. Like, it's fucking rough if you're not wrestling for a major company. And for him to be 10 years like that, like, he's a tough guy. Like, in the guy, he had a gun pulled out on him and lived to tell the tale. Like, clearly, you know, Doki is he's a little bit bitter about, you know, the fact that he had to hustle in order to get to this point in his career.
But the fans are liking him. He got some cheers from the fans.
I think they respect the fact that he's just aggressive.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Or that he speaks Spanish.
That too. And then, of course, you know, we got the next night, which is May 16th.
May 18th?
Yeah, wait, was it that? Yeah, no, the 16th. You know what? You know, I am bugging out today, dude.
Yeah,
you're right. It was the 18th.
The 18th.
The 18th. Punch me later, man. Yeah. But yeah, the 18th, which of course, you know, was a, you know, decent night. It also was like the first time that Show in this tournament got his points. He of course pinned Taka Michinoku with his shock arrow. Surprise, surprise. I don't expect Taka Michinoku to really go far in this tournament. I think he's mainly here to kind of be a, you know,
jobber.
To utilize people to get people over, basically, which he did. Of course, Tiger Mask finally got his first defeat against Marty Scurll, with Marty Scurll utilizing that Black Plague suplex, which I feel like the Black Plague is a setup rather than a finisher, because he looks like he's going to do a butterfly suplex, you know, like the double underhook suplex, and then he just flips him to the side, and then that's it. And I feel like what he should do is do that same thing, flip him to the side, and then flip as he flips into the side, then grab on into like an arm bar. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the way he executes that move, it would be better off if he set that up into a submission. But
from how technical he is, that makes sense.
Instead of just, because I feel like it at best it's a suplex, it's a setup.
It's a power move. It's not.
Yeah.
He's not a big guy to do power moves.
But I don't feel like it's a finisher.
Yeah.
I just I'm not a fan of the Black Plague. I prefer his chicken wing. You know, or you know, if he comes up with another type of you know, move, but no less, new finisher gives Tiger Mask his first loss.
You know what happened in this match too that I thought me myself personally, I haven't seen this. Marty Scurll grabbed Tiger Mask's fingers and put him through like the rope fasteners.
Yeah.
And then Brody King gave him the tool to twist it, and he twisted his fingers around the.
Oh.
So that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah,
you know, and that's another thing too that I really like is that even though this is a Super Juniors tournament, Brody King, who's obviously a super heavyweight, has been featured a lot in the tag matches and stuff like that. I feel like the crowd has really taken a liking to Brody King, this big tattooed guy. Yeah, and I feel like in a lot of ways the crowd I feel like there's kind of like this unspoken comparison between him and like Stan Hansen. Or Dr. Death, you know, like old time back, you know, like old school foreigners that wrestled back in the day. Like he has that vibe when he wrestles in Japan, that he could be like a big foreign menace. Be cool as shit to see Brody King on the G1. I mean, whether he wins, probably not, but I'm pretty sure he can definitely put on some entertaining as fuck matches.
Heck yeah.
In the G1. Yeah. And like I said, I'd like to see the G1, you know, I guess some more diversity. Love to see Ospreay in the G1 finally. You know, I'd like to see I would like to see GOD out of you know, at this point they don't ever take it seriously. You know what I mean? So get them out of the G1 and put other new guys in there. Like, you know, it'd be cool to see Brody King versus Bad Luck Fale, just two big guys just smash mouthing. It'd be fun. But I like how they're utilizing Brody King as this guy that kind of helps Marty Scurll.
I mean, it seems like New Japan is listening to you or listening to this podcast because they're putting new guys for you.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
Which is cool. I want to see more new Japanese guys, which is why I'm so happy to see guys like Doki make an appearance. But anyway, up next, Titan versus Taiji Ishimori. Of course, Titan lost against Taiji Taiji Ishimori with the bloody cross. This is a very straightforward match. Taiji Ishimori kind of dominated. Titan, had a couple counters, but there was nothing really spectacular about this match. It was pretty standard. Taiji Ishimori, of course, got the pin.
Like you said earlier, Titan is not doing so well, man.
He's not doing so well at all, and Taiji Ishimori is so far undefeated at that point in the tournament with of course 6 points.
I like his mask though. Titan's mask.
Titan has a great mask, and I mean I'd like him as a wrestler, but he's just not performing very well.
Yeah.
And then of course next, Dragon Lee against Jonathan Grisham. Definitely a contrast in styles. Which I always feel like the best matches in wrestling are when two very different styles go against each other. And this is exactly it. Like Jonathan Grisham can high fly, Dragon Lee can do a little bit of submission, but everybody knows Jonathan Grisham as being a technical submission based wrestler, Dragon Lee being the high flyer. And there was a lot of like back and forth, a lot of kind of one upsmanship between the two. Of course, of Dragon Lee finishing Jonathan Grisham with his Desnucadora finisher, which is like the suplex sit out power bomb. Love that finisher. It's a power move.
Yeah.
But
works for him.
Works for him. It works very well for him. Kind of contrasted style with him being like a high flyer as well. And then
being the brother of Rush.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course the main event was Shingo Takagi against Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Very rough, back and forth. A lot of brawling, a lot of hitting, a lot of hard hits. Doesn't surprise me that Shingo, of course, did beat Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
He did that mist thing. Not the mist thing, the when he drinks the alcohol and spits it.
Yeah, Shingo actually hit Yoshinobu with the Jack Daniels. With the Suntory surprise. They call it like the Suntory surprise, which I was shocked that like he did it this time and not the other way around, which is fucking brilliant. Which was just awesome. I mean, like I said, I'd like to see like in this tournament, you see a lot of surprises, and you see the fact that Shingo finally beat Yoshinobu Kanemaru at his own game by performing another heel tactic of his own and spitting in his face, the alcohol, which is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And then of course the next night, Sunday, May 19th, which I got a little bit of an opinion to say about something on this particular night.
Versus this first match?
In this first match, with Rocky Romero and Ren Narita, 12 minute, 28 seconds, armbar, doesn't surprise me. Rocky Romero goes over Ren Narita.
Yeah, Narita got squashed.
Exactly. Of course, Rocky Romero getting his first points of the whole tournament, unfortunately. So of course this is going to be a squash. And then of course it was Bandito against Doki, which I was surprised. And finally we got to see Bandito hit the 21-plex off of Doki in 9 minutes and 55 seconds. Fast match. And in fact, I feel like Bandito utilized his speed and his power to kind of outdo Doki, who Doki couldn't really keep up.
Yeah.
Doki kept trying to, brawl and whatever else, but Bandito utilized his speed and was finally able to.
But you can see Doki's 10-year experience with lucha people.
Yeah, he was able to.
Match.
He was able to kind of like keep up in terms of like maneuvering and leg work.
Yeah.
But Bandito's just too fucking fast and agile. I
see a little bit of Kenny Omega when he runs towards the ropes on Bandito. Like he does. How Kenny Omega does like a little skip, kind of before he runs to the rope.
And then he takes off.
He does a little thing. Yeah, I see that on Bandito.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
And then of course the match between El Phantasmo and Robbie Eagles, which of course El Phantasmo, he ends up taking it.
Yeah, he wins again. This rude guy.
Yeah, he ends up winning. And the thing is, I expected a longer match. I was a little disappointed. I expected longer between these two guys. And, I mean, there was a lot of exchanges, kind of like, back and forth exchanges and stuff like that.
To me, it could have been a better match if this guy, like we talked about earlier, Phantasmo wasn't doing these heel tactics.
Exactly, because I expected more lucha type stuff. You know, like maybe some more flips, arm drags, a lot of, back and forth acrobatics. Mm-hmm. Instead, it was kind of very straightforward and kind of vanilla, more vanilla than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And Robbie Eagles, of course, lost, to El Phantasmo with CR2. But then the one thing that really fucking pissed me off is, correct me if I'm wrong, when El Phantasmo was on his way out, there was a kid who was on the guardrail, like in the standing alongside the guardrail, and I believe it was a special needs child. Yeah, I believe the kid was special needs child. And El Phantasmo took his hat and put it on and then just threw it far away, picking on this kid. Now, I'm all about heels pissing off little kids. Like, it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny to get for when a good heel could do that, but I feel like there's certain things that you shouldn't fucking do. And I felt that one crossed the line. I mean, if it was a regular ass kid and you threw the hat, yeah, that's a dickhead move, and I'm like, you're a fucking piece of shit. But I feel like I could let that go a little bit, but this is a special needs child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like that crossed the line for me.
I think he did it with me when the first time that he flipped off the kid and right in his face.
Yeah, the little baby, which
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, like, calm down, dude. What the fuck? Like, it's different when you flip off a fucking grown up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, ha ha ha, you know, what the fuck? I don't know, man. Like, it's one thing to get heat.
Yeah.
And it's another, I feel like there's certain things that you shouldn't fucking do. I feel like that was very disrespectful. And not in a wrestling, oh, I'm a good heel kind of way, but more like, nah, that's just fucking lazy. That's just being a lazy fucking heel. And that's just being an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Fuck
Unnecessary heat.
that. Unnecessary. I know. And honestly, you know, fuck, at this point, fuck El Fantasma. Like, I'm done with him.
Yeah, we don't like him anymore.
I don't like him anymore. So, fuck him.
Access denied.
Exactly.
To
Like,
that guy.
I don't know. I think, you know, you go too fucking far.
Yeah.
So, fuck him.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd say it to his face too. Yeah, fuck you. You know, like I would too. I wouldn't give a shit.
Yep.
But anyway, up next to a much more kind-hearted and better fucking wrestler, Will Ospreay against Yo. Now, this particular match, I felt like was in some degree a breakout for Yo. Not to the degree of show that he had in the first round against Shingo,
Yeah.
because that was definitely like a coming out party. Like, here I am, motherfuckers. But I felt like this one was like, okay, Yo is starting to find his groove on his own. Like, I feel like, okay, this is like if Show went up a whole level, Yo went up half. And I feel like this match was definitely like kind of like, okay, he's starting to find his footing. Of course, Will Ospreay can definitely lead a match, and you could definitely tell that he was leading.
The whole match.
In the whole match.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a difference of opinion on this one, what you just said. And I think it's just me because I don't like Yo's like demeanor.
Yeah.
I'm starting to not like him as kind of like a not that high, but level like you hate Yoshi. Like, I don't really like
You don't
him.
really feel like he sells well. And
Yeah.
maybe that's it. I don't know. I mean, like I said, Yo is still very young into his career, so we'll have to wait and see. But I still felt like this was kind of like somewhat of a coming out for Yo, because it was a long 24-minute.
I mean, it was one of the better matches in the tournament so far.
Exactly.
For him.
Yeah, especially for him. And of course, Will Ospreay hit the Stormbreaker on Yo, and that was that. And he's up 6 points at this point. But I felt like Yo finally was able to keep up. But then again,
Yeah, I agree with you there.
you know, with a guy like Ospreay can make everybody look great.
Like Bret Hart did to Tom McGee.
Exactly, which you just finally saw that, you know,
Yeah.
special. Before we started recording, we ordered pizza, hung out for a minute, and we actually watched that Tom McGee special, which we'll talk about a little bit later, I guess. But yeah, like I said, exactly, he made him look that much better.
Yeah.
And Ospreay did that for
Yo.
For Yo.
Yeah.
And then finally, you know, on the main event, once again, I don't know why, Taguchi against Bushi, and of course, you know, Ryusuke Taguchi pinned Bushi, which I completely disagree with. I felt like Bushi should have gone over.
See, why are they keeping Bushi as this mid-Carter guy? Like, keeping him from more... He has more potential than this.
Exactly, like it's almost like he's just constantly like fucking jobbing, you know?
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, like Bushi has the potential to be like a cornerstone of the junior heavyweights.
Yeah.
So why not? Like, why not fucking do it? Come on.
That sucks for him.
Yeah, like I felt kind of, I was a little, you know, genuinely pissed off.
Yeah, and then you put Taguchi over it? That sucks.
Exactly. I was like, come on, dude. You know, but I mean, thus far, I mean, that's kind of what's gone on in the tournament, you know, thus far. And it's just like, we'll see how the rest of it pans out between now and the beginning of June.
Yeah.
I am excited to see this video and who's it's going to be as far as the guy that keeps taunting
Oh, yeah,
Juice
the guy
Robinson.
with the leather jacket we talked about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the third, like another Switchblade 2.0.
Uh-huh.
You know, I don't know who it could be. No clue. I want to know. I really do want to know. But
Yeah.
we'll find out soon enough.
Soon enough, man. What if they do something opposite at the end and you get a party guy coming out? He just like, what's up, guys? And the total opposite of the leather guy with the knives.
The knives and stuff. That would just be such a disappointment. But I mean, the video packages are done well. Like, it almost kind of sucks the energy out of the room.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, what the hell is this? I'm just wondering who the hell.
I still can't think of who could it be.
All I know is that the guy that it's supposed to be in there, he comes off very skinny. And I'm like, the only other skinny guy who's wearing leather jackets, who fucks with knives, is Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah.
I'm like, him? I don't know. I don't think it's Sami Callihan. He's with Impact.
Yeah, that's who I was about to
and
say.
MLW, and he's wrestled in New Japan during the tag league. But as Juice Robinson, well, the funny thing is, he did wrestle as Juice Robinson's tag partner during 2 years ago during the tag tournament. You know how they have like the tag league right before Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah.
He did wrestle as Juice Robinson's tag partner. Matter of fact, he actually kissed Kojima on the lips.
Yeah.
To surprise. So Kojima got pissed and like punched him, like kayfabe, like, punched him. And then Callahan apologized afterwards, like saying, "I'm sorry, I was just trying to like, get a reaction out of the crowd."
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know if it's Sami Callihan, because the guy doesn't look like Callahan is a fairly thick guy,
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with these damn mosquitoes, man.
Man, you should tell everyone we're recording right now. We're recording outside.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck. I don't know. I guess mosquitoes have kind of infiltrated my apartment, unfortunately. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, man, so far, like I said, the tournament's been awesome. Everything's kind of taking shape. I'm really excited to see how things do pan out. I love it. What the hell was that?
It's a guy yelling, "I love it."
I don't like the way he yells that.
Let me see.
I love it.
Yeah, it sounds weird.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
Yeah, it sounds like he's getting reamed up the ass without lube. It doesn't sound good at all. You got to change that. Yeah, man, that's not cool. It's like, I love it. Like he's taking his
Let's
shit.
hear it again.
I love it. Yeah, dude, he sounds like he's getting reamed up the ass. No lube. Straight dry.
That's funny.
Fuck. Yuck, man. But anyway, man, I can't even get my bearings straight. But no, man, no less. Awesome tournament thus far. I'm really excited. I know at the time of this recording, tomorrow night, they'll be, like I said, they've had like 2 days off. So that'll be really interesting.
Hopefully better matches after the rest.
Exactly. I'm really excited to see how things pan out.
Yeah.
But no less, man, we still got a lot of other things to talk about, man, around the indies. So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Put on salvation as your helmet and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, Jesus Christ. So put on the armor of God, Jesus Christ. We love you, God, so we do it for God, Jesus Christ. Belt of truth, Jesus Christ. So we do it for. We love you, God. Chest plate. Jesus Christ!
Cool, man. And at the time of this recording, apparently, House of Hardcore, Tommy Dreamer's promotion, will be hosting a pay-per-view at the Nashville Fairground Arena. Now, if that doesn't sound familiar to you wrestling fans, Nashville Fairground Arena used to be the home of the old school TNA, when they used to be a company based out of Nashville before they moved up to Canada.
Yeah.
Before they moved up to Canada. Apparently that building is going to be demolished.
Dang.
So House of Hardcore will host the last wrestling show at the Nashville Fairgrounds Arena. Apparently the building's going to be knocked down for improvements on of the fairgrounds in Nashville. So a little bit of history is going away. But it used to be TNA's home back in the day. Interesting little tidbit there. And of course, like House of Hardcore, like one thing I really like about these cards is that Tommy Dreamer has a good eye for like getting up and coming talent and popular names to kind of come in and do these dream matches. Great Muda is going to be on a future pay-per-view. Brian Cage, just to name a few. He's also doing an FBI reunion, like full-blooded Italians from ECW. Awesome, So I mean, that's really pretty fucking cool. And then of course,
have you listened to Tommy Dreamer's podcast?
I have.
That at the end he starts eating.
Yeah, exactly. He's always eating. He's a bit of a fat boy.
Yeah.
Love it, man. I love it, man. He's representing for us who love to snack. You know. And then of course, like I said, we've always talked about, like, in the grand scheme of wrestling, how wrestling is growing and how there's so many options out there. Well, PJ Black, you know, Justin Gabriel in WWE, PJ Black in Ring of Honor, is helping launch, alongside Fight TV, a promotion out of South Africa called Slam Force. And granted, there's been independent wrestling in South Africa, but finally they're going to be given an international platform to broadcast their events in South Africa. And apparently John Hennigan has also expressed interest in wrestling for Slam Force, you know, another title that he can add under his belt.
Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, so I mean,
it reminds me. You know what? This reminds me of that video you showed me one time. There was this, I think it was an African country that tried to do.
Power Udi.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like Slam Force is apparently like a legitimate indie promotion in South Africa. Power Udi, on the other hand, was a guy, and if anybody can email me or message us and correct me, but Power Udi was this guy that wrestled in America in the 80s. He was from Africa. I don't remember what country he was from.
Yeah.
But he apparently wanted to make wrestling popular again in his part of Africa, not South Africa. I know I know that much.
Yeah.
It was in another part of Africa that really, I want to say, just wasn't as financially strong as South Africa. Granted, South Africa does have its own financial issues and government issues. I have friends that are from there. But yeah, Power Udi years ago, he tried to promote this big wrestling event, and only like 15 people showed up inside this empty like arena.
Yeah.
So all these, just 15 people surrounding like this piece of shit boxing ring. And he wrestled against Luke Gallows, but he calls himself Super Festus. Remember, Luke Gallows used to be Festus in SmackDown back in the day, where he was like that, he was that guy that was in a coma, a redneck, but then when the bell rang, he would just lose his shit and just start attacking people. And this is pre-Bullet Club Luke Gallows, like, because for a while Luke Gallows' career kind of was like not going so well, and I guess he took the money to go to Africa and wrestle this shit, and it was just fucking terrible. Yeah, like Power Udi. Yeah, we'll definitely have to talk about Power Udi later.
It's fun.
Talk about like wrestling folklore, man. Power fucking Udi.
Watch that on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. But nonetheless, Slam Force is not going to be like Power Udi's attempt at wrestling. Like, Slam Force seems to be like legit. They signed with Fight TV to broadcast. So, like I said, more options out there, kids. More international wrestling.
Yeah, Fight TV has so many promotions. Huh?
You know, my only gripe about Fight TV is that sometimes with certain events, the bandwidth gets choppy. They need to work on that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only gripe I have.
Maybe that's why Double or Nothing this time did not go the fight route. They went with.
You can get on the fight route too.
But I tried looking on there. You can't. I couldn't find Double or Nothing. Yeah, looks like they went with. Is it Bleacher Report? That's where they're gonna stream it on there.
On Bleacher Report?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's news to me. I mean, regardless, I'm gonna buy it on demand on pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's gonna be on BR Live. Yeah. Only thing I could find on Fight was Starrcast, and it was interesting to me that they didn't go that route.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different.
Interesting, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But speaking of AEW, what just got announced today was Sean Spears, formerly known as Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10, will be another entrant into the Casino Battle Royale at Double or Nothing.
What?
Yeah, man. So that's another missed opportunity for WWE.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that does disappoint me, though, is apparently Dolph Ziggler has returned to WWE. So, because remember those rumors that he was going to leave, and I guess he didn't.
Man,
guess he came back just in time.
That's weird. Isn't that one of Cody's buddies?
Yeah. Oh well, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess this is not happening. Unfortunately. But I'm super excited about what's going to happen with AEW. And also another thing that was a bit disappointing was that apparently the Pac and Hangman Page match got pulled from Double or Nothing, apparently due to conflicts in creative as to how to make the match happen. So the match ended up happening over in England on a small independent show, and they had the match, and apparently the match ended up in DQ where Pac injured Hangman Page, and then he says, my whole goal was to injure him, and I'm not going to. There's no point for me to go to Double or Nothing. And apparently I think what was the problem is that Pac did not want to lose. in the sense that, well, he takes his championship reign as the Dragon Gate, Open the Dream championship. Him holding that championship, their biggest championship in that promotion. Apparently, he does not want to compromise that. That's why he does not want to lose. And apparently, they don't want to do disqualifications or draws in AEW either. They want things to be very cut and dry. There's a winner, there's a loser. So apparently, they decided just to offer the match elsewhere in England, and it's not going to be on the pay-per-view.
Dang.
So I think it was just a matter of just not knowing how to really go about it. And another thing I heard too is that it wasn't even so much about how Pac is champion for Dragon Gate, but the fact that how are they supposed to build Pac if he's champion for Dragon Gate, and that's something that he takes seriously, and he can't lose as a champion. And they're also trying to build Hangman Page. So really, what can you do to go forward? It's kind of like you book yourself into a corner. So I think they just decided to scrap it and have the match over in England, and it apparently got put out on YouTube, on AEW's YouTube as of today. So that's the plan. But of course, Tama Tonga from GOD and New Japan Pro Wrestling says, well, hey, if Hangman Page needs another opponent, how about me? We still have unfinished business. That would be cool if that happened.
That would be cool.
Whether that happens, I don't know. Yeah. Because, like I said,
I mean, Adam Page needs to be in the pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you cannot have him there.
You cannot have him unless he goes to the Battle Royal, which would be...
It's already filled up, isn't it? Well, that we know of.
That we know of. I mean, there might be a couple more spots, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But unfortunately, I don't know if New Japan Pro Wrestling is necessary, other than Chris Jericho, who has an exclusive deal. I don't necessarily know if they're still going to be open to collaborating with AEW, seeing as how they have a strong partnership with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I know that the Young Bucks flat out just came out of they got interviewed and they said flat out, if New Japan would have offered what we wanted, there would have been no AEW. But the fact is that New Japan did not value us. That's what one of the Jackson brothers said in an interview recently. It's like, New Japan did not value the Young Bucks.
And you could see that a little bit.
To an extent, yeah, especially with how big the Young Bucks are. And let's be honest, the Young Bucks were responsible for bringing a lot of visibility to New Japan Pro Wrestling because of them, because of their work.
Yeah.
People wanted to watch the Young Bucks. So where did they go? Ring of Honor, the Indies for a while. And then eventually it came to a point where it's like the only two places you could watch the Young Bucks was Ring of Honor and New Japan. And then of course their occasional appearances at PWG, but because I know for a while they stopped wrestling the Indies altogether, and they were responsible for bringing a lot of new eyes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I felt like they just kind of wanted to keep the Young Bucks in the junior division. I know the Young Bucks were saying, hey, no, we just do away with weight classes for the tag teams. Like, we want to be heavyweight tag teams. That had become legitimate heavyweights. They held the tag team titles once, and they felt that they contributed a lot to New Japan, but New Japan weren't willing to pay them more based on how they were doing.
Yeah.
So the Bucks left.
Yeah.
Because they said if New Japan would have given them, because they said basically to work that style and the amount that they were getting paid as a tag team, they would have had to wrestle in New Japan for 20 years to retire. And they felt like elsewhere, with Ring of Honor, it would have been 10 years. They said they wanted to do something on their own to maybe lessen the hectic schedule, which...
That's a lot. It's traveling and everything.
Traveling. I mean, traveling. I mean, have you been on an international flight like that?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard on your body.
It feels like you're in a weird dimension, like you're crossing to different hours, different time zones, and then it becomes night all of a sudden. It's crazy.
It throws your internal clock off. It throws your internal clock off. You don't sleep right. You have to work out. You have to eat. You have to perform, and you have to do that all the time throughout the year. It takes a toll on me just to go on international flights on my own leisure. Yeah. And then to be a wrestler with how much how demanding that is. People say like, oh, well, that's stupid. Well, I mean, New Japan pays you guys a lot of money. But like I said, it's relative to their world. Yeah. If they felt that they were a lot more valuable than what they were getting, why wouldn't you ask for more? Especially if your track record proves it, which I think it's safe to say that the Young Bucks have proven that wherever they go, they're an asset. Yeah. A big asset. But, now they have AEW, and it's all theirs. So they're calling the shots. Super stoked to see them have that rematch against the Lucha Brothers for the AAA tag team titles. Super stoked about that. And I'm super stoked for Double or Nothing. Yeah, man. I'm really fucking excited. I hear a bunch of rumors, man. I mean, I hear that maybe John Moxley will show up.
Yeah.
He hasn't shown up on the indies yet.
It's so much stuff, and then on top of everything, you have Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, you have Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega on American soil.
Yeah.
Which, for the longest time, Chris Jericho said, like, I'm not wrestling on American soil out of loyalty to Vince McMahon. And then he said, like, I think what changed his mind is that he saw how viable outside of WWE is. He's like, there's other stuff. Like, I can still make a very good living. Mm-hmm. So why not? Which is pretty awesome.
Goldust.
And I think this is kind of like the match that Dustin Rhodes has always wanted, because I know for years, like, they kind of always hinted at, oh man, it's going to be Cody versus Goldust, in WWE, and they never pulled the fucking trigger on it. Mm-mm. Like, they hinted at it. I remember one time in one Royal Rumble, they kind of had a brawl, and then they both got eliminated.
Yeah, because they're tag team partners too, and I thought it was going to end up maybe them.
It was going to build up, and because they had a really good run as a tag team. Like, they did really good, and then eventually came the Stardust character, and then they had the tag team belts again. Yeah. But they had a good run as a tag team both times, but I thought that ultimately all this was going to end up as both of them having a Mania match, and it never fucking paid off.
Yeah, that sucks.
And then now it finally is, and I love this build-up of, Dustin Rhodes saying, like, he thinks that his brother is getting too big for his britches and too cocky, and then Cody's like, I want to kill the Attitude Era. I want to kill this notion that my brother's generation was the best that wrestling had to offer. Like, I want to kill that. So I like this storyline. I think it makes for really interesting wrestling. So I'm excited about that. I'm also super fucking stoked about seeing Aja Kong, who was a woman's legend in Japan. Who's a Joshi wrestler on American soil on a major pay-per-view. Like, what the fuck? Like, Anybody who knows anything about Japanese pro wrestling, especially Japanese Joshi pro wrestling, or Japanese, Joshi Puro, Aja Kong is like a legend, a living legend, a woman who still wrestles, and the thing is
legit.
Yeah, she's legit. She's a fucking badass. She wrestled against the likes of Bull Nakano and Akira Hokuto, and on top of that, she's mixed. She's, half black, half Japanese, so had a very difficult time going through the dojo system at that time, being of mixed race. And for her to be a kick-ass legend now. So it's bad fucking ass. Yeah. So just the fact that I'm just going to see Aja Kong on an American card, which is awesome. Which is, like I said, I think people in America, with the growth and popularity of women's wrestling in North America, I think people have started to be enlightened, and people are starting to wake up to the fact that women's wrestling overseas has been happening even longer, and has been taken seriously even longer. And a lot of these women of yesteryear are finally getting their time to shine. Like, I know there's a big interest in, even though, like I said, Bull Nakano, who, she also had a run in WWE, in the mid 90s. I feel like in America, she was way ahead of her time, because women that look like that and wrestle like that, like, women didn't wrestle like that for the longest time in America. But in Japan, it was, women were kicking ass already. They were already fucking doing it. And in Mexico too, for that matter, we have women like Lady Apache and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But there's like this renewed interest, because I see it on Instagram and I see it on social media. There's like this renewed interest in like Bull Nakano matches, or Akira Hokuto, or Manami Toyota, and like Japanese women's wrestlers of yesteryear. So I think people are realizing, oh wait, there's badass, not only there's a badass wrestling in Japan, but there's badass women's wrestling in Japan. And I'm so glad to see it, because we're going to have that 3-on-3 tag match with all these Japanese women stars wrestling on American soil. And it like I said, even when WWE signed, Asuka, or she was known as Kana back in Japan, it made me so happy to see girls like her and, Kairi Sane and, Kairi Hojo is what her real name was, or Io Shirai. Like, it made me happy to see women like that get like a big fucking platform. Now, how they've been utilized, that's another conversation for another day. But just the principle in itself that Japanese women's wrestlers were getting signed, and then you see Japanese women's wrestlers getting a chance to sign in other promotions, across the United States. It makes me so fucking happy, especially now, like with Bea Priestley, who's a foreigner who is bringing a lot of eyes to, like, Stardom. Stardom in Japan. So it's like, as much as we're concentrating on Omega versus, Jericho and Cody versus Dustin Rhodes and, and the Bucks versus, the Lucha Brothers, I think people are forgetting like the amount of awesome women's wrestling that's going to happen on this card, especially the Japanese women's wrestlers. Like, I'm super stoked, and I think it's going to be I think a lot of people are sleeping on a big surprise. That's my opinion.
Yeah, could be a show stealer.
Absolutely, those women can fucking go. Like, absolutely. Like I said, there was a documentary, and I'll come back next time when I'm better prepared. There was a documentary that showcased how bad and savage Japanese women's dojos are. And it really showcased like how fucking brutal.
Dang.
I mean, it's a little different now for safety reasons. Yeah. But there was some bad, like, some really bad practices in women's wrestling dojos to make sure that these women were like, trained. Man. Matter of fact, I'll even find out right now. Gaia Girls. Yeah. Gaia Girls is the name of the documentary. And it's kind of like shows the dark side of women's wrestling. And Gaia Girls, it was debuted in 2000, and it shows like the punishing teacher-student relationship, that happens between like the people who run the dojo, the women that run the dojo, and the students. And they're all definitely trying to train for this promotion back then called Gaia Japan. And it really, it's an intense documentary.
Damn. I have to look that up.
Yeah, like it's called, Gaia Girl, Gaia Girls. It's called Gaia Girls.
Oh, okay, cool.
GAEA Girls. But it definitely showed like a very dark side to like professional.
Like Mortal Kombat?
No, man. I'm talking about people getting their rib cages ripped out.
You never let me use this Mortal Kombat analogy I'm trying to do all the time. This is like the third time I try to use it.
Because, man, who fucking dies who fucking dies by getting their spinal cord ripped out in wrestling? Fucking nobody. That's a terrible analogy. No, I'm just saying that like this documentary definitely showcases like a really fucking terrible side to like training. I remember they had this girl do this drop kick, and then her teacher kept getting pissed that she wasn't doing this drop kick correctly. So she's like, fine, I'll do the drop kick on you and I'll show you how it's fucking done. She just flat out runs real fast and full blown knocks this girl's fucking block off and like breaks her nose. And she's like, all right, do it again with the fucking broken nose. Like, it's fucking crazy, dude.
I could imagine them doing something like Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where that old man pushes or pulls his legs apart with some rope.
Oh yeah, and Bloodsport.
Yeah,
dude. I mean, it's pretty fucking brutal. I mean, you always hear about how the Japanese dojos are pretty fucking intense. Yeah, I know that they've eased up a lot because they were hurting their own recruits. And if you hurt your fucking recruits, then you don't have any fucking wrestlers. Yeah. But no less, that's just my long-winded way of saying that, like, people definitely need to pay a closer attention to the Japanese women wrestlers on this card and to Japanese women's wrestlers, period.
Man, this pay-per-view is going to be awesome.
I'm fucking excited, man. Man. I love it. Oh, God.
It's that guy again.
The guy again who gets reamed up his ass with a fucking spiked bat. I love it. God, no more. Don't use that ever again. Anyway, man, you got anything else, dude?
That's it, man.
All right, man. Until then, man, enjoy pro wrestling, enjoy Double or Nothing, enjoy the best of Super Juniors, and we'll catch you next week. I got to catch a flight to New York City.
Safe travels.
Yeah, man. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Adios.